Welcome to Own the Arenas podcast, Inside the Arena. I'm Leslie, and here with me are Chris and Rachel. We're here to discuss who we are, the importance of building a community, and what to do once you have built a successful network. Step inside the arena with us and walk out owning it.
All right. Welcome, everyone. So excited for you guys to be here and for us to finally get together and do our podcast. I think it would be really great for our audience and everyone who's listening to know who we are. And what better person to hear that from is our CEO, Chris.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. So first and foremost, Own the Arena is a retained search firm. What's special about us is that we serve both clients and candidates. With clients, we accept and successfully solve challenging searches for transformative and creative executives who build, scale, and grow businesses. And for candidates, many times at inflection points in their career, executives and managers find themselves in a transition. And we jump in the arena with you and help support you through that transition in whatever way possible.
I think it's really awesome the way that we connect with people too, like you're saying. And as we get further into this, I think everyone is going to know that connection is such a huge part of who we are and what we do. And we're not just, meeting somebody to get ahead of somebody else. We're really wanting to get to know people and to meet somebody on a deeper level, which is huge.
I completely agree. I think OTA does a great job of uplifting those around us and talking about things that aren't always talked about.
Yeah, that's a huge point too, Leslie.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important that we share, the name of the firm came from a TED Talk that Brene Brown did, and she was describing Teddy Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech. And much like her reaction, my reaction was, whoa, that's amazing. The crux of the speech is, work with the people in your arena who are with you fighting the good fight, and who are supportive and helping you advance your endeavors versus the critics that are saying not good enough, that's not right, whatever they might be saying from the cheap seats in the audience. And so that resonated with me so much that I picked it for the name of our firm. We're in there with you on the floor of the arena. We know what it's like, and we're behind you.
Yeah. And
I think that reference.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that reference is extremely fitting, and for anyone who doesn't know it, we have it posted in our resource section of our website.
Yes, absolutely. And I think too, letting go of all of the negative talk too can be so hard, whether it be people on the outside or even ourselves sometimes. And for us, being a recruiter who works on both sides, I think we know how to scope out this whole arena that we're in and, being able to achieve that and conquer whatever challenges in front of us too is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the benefit of working with people, whether they're clients or candidates or become one or the other, or even come and work with us and for us, right, is that you really form lasting, trusting relationships. You get to know each other in a variety of contexts, and you can really sort of understand and come together and connect, like you said, Rachel, in a way that's super special, and enables you to enhance each other and make each other better. And that's what this is all about: finding those people, connecting with those people, and we're facilitating that. Whether it's your next job move, or whether it's a mentor, or whether you're a mentor and you're really looking for someone who's a engaged mentee, it's all here in our group.
Absolutely. Well, we do know, I don't know if anybody who doesn't know Chris knows that she loves horses and she's super enthusiastic. And I think you have a great analogy, and I think a lot of people might connect with it, and I think you should share it.
I think that'll be a common theme.
Okay, pushed into horse analogies. This is great. Most people don't push me into them, but thank you, Rachel. Anyway, I ride on a team with my daughter. And you know, it's an individualized sport, but it's also a team sport. And so I guess the gist of the analogy is the team, where I feel my best in my riding is with that team around me, right? Everybody talks about their goals and what they're trying to accomplish and how their ride was. You know, we ask about it and we talk about it together, and we've watched each other, both in competitions and at home practicing. And so it's so great because everybody invests in their teammate. And it's like, wow, I really want to watch her in the show because I want to see how well she does. I know she's been trying to do this, or I know she's going over this level for the very first time. And I really want to be there and cheer. And we cheer each other on. We support each other. You know, when things go well, we're there to celebrate. And when things go poorly, we're there to pick up the pieces and say, you know, there's another ride tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think that's such a great way to put it too, because a lot of this is just building, learning, growing, connecting, and we're creating like a friendly competition of sorts. So it's like we're excited to watch each other grow. We're excited, you know, to be there and help others when they're struggling, whether it be, you know, they're in a job position and they're like, oh, I don't really love it here. What do I do? Or somebody's like, I really want to get here. What do I do for that as well? So, you know, I think it's really important for us to be there for our people.
I agree. Help people see the opportunities that they couldn't see for themselves.
Yeah, there's real drive, right? So it's harnessing your inner drive and not being afraid of it. Right? It's like, oh, I feel like I really want to do this. You know, same with the horses. It's kind of scary to say, I feel like I really want to gallop at an obstacle and jump over it. I mean, that's a little crazy. But it's so fun. So, you know, like, especially in these transition places in your career where you're saying, you know, oh, I feel like I really want to make a transition or some kind of move or try something new. Being able to try that on and test it out and receive, you know, counsel and insight and connections to people who can help you and who are interested in helping you explore that drive within yourself is really, really special. So that's why we're here.
It's empowering, really.
It's funny how rare it is to find a bunch of people who can uplift you and help you with your jobs.
I know, it doesn't seem
it's
like...
It's sad how rare that is.
I think, yeah.
It shouldn't be rare. We should all be doing that for each other all the time, but it's not easy. It takes energy on both sides, and that drive has to be there. If you don't want to do it, it's not going to happen, right?
Right.
And so there's a lot that goes into it on both sides.
I think another great way to express to our viewers is how we really support and build our community and our connections when we are, you know, helping them through these transitions and journeys in their life.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we had a story just earlier this week about a candidate of ours. You know, we were sharing, you know, here's what Own the Arena is doing, and we were talking about it, and he said, you know, that's perfect. I was in transition. I realized during COVID that I wanted to move across the country and be closer to family. My existing role couldn't support that, and I knew I had to find a new role, and that's not always easy. Right? A role that would support me being in a rather remote location. And I was determined to do it. And, you know, we just, as part of that process, you know, we happened to connect with one another as I was recruiting for a really special role within a client organization. And I remember coming back to the board member and saying, you know, well, the one thing is this person has to be located here.
Yeah.
And really advocating for that, and really talking about how, you know, for this client and for this individual, that was really, really important and special. And the whole focus was on being a work from anywhere organization. And so, you know, put your money where your mouth is. And it ended up working out into a perfect scenario for both. So, you know, we work hard and we put ourselves out there to advocate for, you know, doing the right thing for people because, you know, none of this is easy.
100%. And I think in the past 2 years, a lot of people have realized like their values and that maybe what they're doing now doesn't match that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like seeing what they did in the past isn't what they want for their, future self too, or things like that too. And for us to really facilitate and be there for people and groups and, being the ones that say, hey, this is my person and I need to get to them from point A to point B. How can you help me do that? Or, going different ways about that. It's so important.
Yeah, and having a curated network, conversations beget conversations. So one of the things we said we were going to talk about in this pod was, hey, what to do once you've built a successful network. Well, you maintain it. You keep it alive. You connect with people, and you connect with people who can connect you to more people. And not just when you need something, maybe when you have something, or when you're trying to do something special and innovative or inspiring, right? And it doesn't always have to be about work. If you find through the course of your networking and your relationships that you have something in common outside of work, you can connect on those things as well. And it just enriches and expands your relationship. It's really about going out into the world and finding people who are already in your arena or who belong in your arena and working together inside there to make sure that your work is enhancing yourself and yourself is enhancing your work. And you're part of a network of people who believe that and want to do that together.
Yeah. And, there's so many different people that we meet too. So it's really fun to meet people and say, oh, I didn't know how, this field in this area of tech worked. And I've learned all of this stuff. And then seeing how that applies to a different section. And it's like, oh, wait, these all connect with each other in this big picture, and it's really fun to see those connections make sense. And then to see where the people fit and these puzzle pieces to just go perfectly together too.
Yeah, and you can start to see how different types and different personalities and different people complement each other and create together. Or, one person may be more rigid and process oriented and one person may be totally creative, and they benefit from each other because the more rigid and process oriented person keeps the creative on track and things like that. So, there's so much to having a diverse network and interacting regularly with people who have something in common with you, but maybe not the same skill set. Maybe not exactly the same, they're not doing exactly the same job, or they're not working with you on the same team. It opens your mind to other people's experiences and other people's value and your value. Because what you're good at is probably easy. And for somebody else, that's really challenging, right? And sometimes we take our own skills for granted. Or we get so focused on them that we're not thinking about this poor, coworker over here who is, sort of struggling to keep up because of something, right? It just really expands your ability to be your best self, at work, in life, everywhere. The more interaction you have, the more connections you have, and the more empathy you can build across moving things forward and driving positive change.
Oh, yeah.
And connection, I've noticed too, is not just, following people who you think are interesting on social media or things like that. It's actually getting to know someone, which, can be tricky since we were all, put in this position where we had to, stay at home or be on our phones or, whatever the case was. But, I think now, for me personally, going through, the huge issue that we went in our own world, like I feel like it really put the importance of talking to people and making connections, because being secluded for so long and then you reach out, it's a little daunting at first, but then when you start to get to know people, it's like, oh wait, this is so much fun, this, like I forgot how this was. So I think it's really great to do that too.
One thing I've really learned in the past few years, especially working here, is how accepted it is to ask questions and get other people's opinions on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think maybe that's a title of another podcast is, you don't have to know. You don't have to know. Just there's so much pressure, or has been so much pressure in the past about, knowing the answer and things like that. And if we flip that on its head and say, no, you don't have to know. Just ask questions and be open and learn and understand and grow. I think that's really where it is, because sometimes, hearing a contrary point of view is like, this is not what I wanted to find, or this is not what I wanted to expect, but it helps you see blind spots, and it helps you understand another perspective. And that can only enrich what you're trying to do.
That's why building connections is so important.
Yeah, and it's lonely in a box, Work from home is great in a lot of ways, and also can be isolating in other ways. And so, being able to just connect at a personal level with people in a network, and get to know each other, and it all waterfalls back into client service as well, because we're getting to know our clients on a personal level as well, or maybe we already know them. They were one of our executives in transition, and we're just really carefully curating and creating a space where people can come together and just say, okay, what's here? And how can we enrich each other? And that's what it's about. What can I help you with, and how can you enrich me in my different pursuits? And let's partner up together and make it happen.
Absolutely.
It sounds so simple, right? When I say that.
It's so funny, getting right before you make the jump, you're like, oh, I don't want to get in the water. And then after you do it, you're like, I would need to do that 10 more times. That was nothing.
Yeah.
What was I afraid of, right? I mean,
jumping over that hurdle.
Yeah, but and having people around you who are supportive and encouraging, and you feel safe, makes it easier to take those leaps of faith, or to take those calculated risks, or to even just put your toe in the water because you're really not sure you even want to do that. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter. This is a supportive, safe space where people really care, and want to just be their best selves.
100%.
So,
did we cover it all?
I think that wraps up OTA.
Rachel, were you going to say one more thing?
I think this is really great so far. We were so nervous before, but we're naturals now. But I think just to wrap everything up, so building connections is so important. Building tools in order to talk to people, how to fit these people into different spaces, how to be there for others, and how others can be here for us, and how we can be there for ourselves as well. And it's just, I'm really excited to see where our journey goes, and how we can help our viewers and listeners and everything like that. And I think we have some really fun stuff ahead of us, and we're all excited to share what we got going on.
Yep, a retained search firm with a really nice twist.
Well, thank you everyone for listening and for hearing us chit chat about what we think is awesome. So we're excited to hear from you soon and see what you're interested in, and excited to show you what's next.
Yeah, stay tuned. We've got some really interesting content coming your way in short order here. As quickly as we can create, we're putting it out there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.